chair of Oahu Democrats with candidate Amy Perruso running for this House of Representatives from District 46. Amy, aloha, and tell us where you were born and about your childhood ohana.
Sure. I was born in San Diego, but I grew up for the first 5 years of my life on racetracks all over the country. I didn't have a stable home until my dad got a hot horse that started winning races. And when I started kindergarten, my family wanted stability for us, which meant a ramshackle farmhouse and some land in Fallbrook, California, which is a small agricultural community. So basically, I grew up. We raised all of our own vegetables and meat. So fish, chicken, cattle that we slaughtered and smoked and froze for ourselves. And I grew up with a lot of hard work on the farm. So there wasn't really a time that we didn't have work to do around the ranch. But my dad's main interest was thoroughbred horse racing. So, and as the oldest child, I started to prepare to be an exercise rider and a jockey from the age of 8. And I think that's the part of my life that is often difficult for people to, wrap their heads around, because my school life was really normal. Like I worked hard to get good grades in like honors and AP classes. I participated in sports in every season. I captained my cheerleading squad for 4 years. I participated in student government, but I also at about 3:30 a.m. on most mornings, I was exercising the horses we had in training, and many weekends I spent on bush tracks in California and in other states, surrounding states, racing horses. So that's kind of how I grew up, and yeah, it was a really unusual childhood, I think, but I learned a lot from it.
And where do you call home now in your adult life, ohana?
I now call Wahiawa home, and that we live in Wahiawa with, so it's my husband and our 4 children. 2 are grown and 2 are teenagers.
And can you tell us about who is your personal hero who inspires you to keep moving forward?
Sure. Like many women, my personal hero is my mother. I watched her as I was growing up working 3 jobs, and she still found time to help us with our school, with our sports, with our 4-H and FFA projects, making sure we had everything that we needed. And it wasn't just that. It wasn't just the caring. It was also like the kind of personality she had. She's always been the person who lights up the room when she's there. She's the person who listens and kind of carries other people's worries. I watched her navigate a man's world, both on the racetrack and in the medical field in hospitals and medical practices, ultimately building a medical billing company for herself with other women. So with a strong collaborative foundation and philosophy of teamwork. But I think the thing that was most important for me to see with my mom's journey and what it meant, for my life, is I saw her leave an abusive husband with young children in tow. And that really helped me understand courage and what it looks like in action.
And what have been some defining moments or events that have defined you and shaped you as a Democrat?
I mean, there have been so many. I've always been politically inclined. In high school, I was politicized around student free speech issues. We had a really critical court case that came out of our activities in high school. And then we also were organizing to oppose KKK youth activity on our campus. When I went to SC for my undergrad work, I helped to organize our anti-apartheid movement, fighting for divestment. And I also was involved in like consciousness raising work and Take Back the Night actions with young feminists on campus, which was really life-changing. But I think the most challenging work for me was work against environmental racism in South Central. I got involved with the Greens. At that time, there was a burgeoning red-green movement in Los Angeles, and with a more conservative kind of CalPIRG movement. So then I I spent in the summer of 1989, I spent a year in China working with those students, getting really engaged with the students who had organized the protests. And then I spent 2 years in Finland as a Fulbright scholar, both studying and becoming involved in the feminist anti-wage gap movement there. So I think in Hawaii, I've been most inspired by the organizing work at the intersection of environmentalism and labor by Local 5 and IKEA, and really trying to connect with kupuna who are involved with the Hawaiian Renaissance.
Wonderful. And our time is up, but if you could just tell us, if Democrats want to volunteer for your campaign, how can they contact you?
Sure, they can look at our website. It's voteamyperruso.com, or they can call my cell 808-351-0980.
Aloha and mahalo. And good luck, Amy.
Thank you.